I was trying to make it better, but it wasn't getting better. And we're back. This is day 3 of the IDA 75th Anniversary Conference. And we have with us here,
Jennifer Hasser from Kendor Learning and Syllables Learning Center.
oh my goodness, I love y'all's products. I think my husband, every time I order something, he goes, can you stop? Can you stop with this?
Yeah, husbands are enemy number one to us.
So tell us a little bit about your company.
We are 23 years old. We started, I have a daughter with dyslexia, and I have a history of my experiences teaching reading to high school kids with behavior disorders, and that's how I kind of got introduced to it. They couldn't read, and so I had no reading training because I was a high school teacher, and it really bothered me to graduate those kids without being able to read, and I felt like we were over accommodating them and not helping them with the tools that they needed to go out into the world. And so I kind of started from scratch. It was, I didn't have any training, didn't know anything, and it started me on the road that kind of has led me here for 20 some odd years. If I count those years, I'm at like 34, sadly, of teaching. I mean, I started when I was 5. But we, started as a reading center, and we still have the reading center. We were asked to open it at the Marcus Institute, which is a multidisciplinary organization that the founder of Home Depot started in Atlanta. And then it kind of grew from there as we worked with kids from all different districts. They were brought in, the toughest kind of kids with behavior and reading issues. We got exposed to a lot of schools, and our kids would go back to the schools, and then the teachers started calling us saying, how did you do this? They're now readers, and and they're reading better than our other kids. And so they would ask us to train them. And so the very first training I did, they asked me, and I was like, well, I'm sure you know everything I know, because they were elementary.
Right.
I had no idea at the time the lack of training that elementary teachers get, especially then. Now it's, getting better. But I was so worried they'd be disappointed in what they learned that I had it professionally catered. I lost so much money because I didn't want them to be mad. And they were just shocked. They just didn't know so much about our language, and that started me on the trajectory. They told their friends, and now I've trained 30,000 teachers, maybe more.
Incredible.
I was teaching them how to make their own card games out of index cards, and they said, this is hard, can we just buy them?
Yeah.
So I started printing them, and everything is very organic, and over time, we're just meeting a need. And so now we have curriculum, we work with districts, we have materials we sell just to anybody who teaches reading, and then we do online tutoring all over the world.
Yeah,
Incredible.
it's great. Anybody that's out there, y'all should really go to their website now and look at their products. They're amazing.
Oh yeah, and I've seen people on Facebook talking about them, and that's how I told you how I learned about you. So I had a question for you. So when you are presenting, I know you presented here at the IDA conference, what is something that you hope that your listeners took away from you and your presentation?
Well, I try very hard to be practical, right? So I'm about the practical implementation of things. So oftentimes teachers learn like all these amazing rules and ideas about language, but they don't know how to take that and bring it into the classroom and translate it into a way that makes sense for them. So even if it's intervention or one-on-one, or they're like, there's a laundry list of things we need to do. Phonology, which includes phonics and all the sound and sound symbol correspondences, and then we have orthography, all the spelling and how that works, which corresponds with the morphology and the etymology, and then we have to make sure they're fluent. And a lot of times teachers learn about these things in isolation, and they're like, how do I put this all together and make it more seamless? It's like, well, I've got, eggs and flour and water and yeast, and like, how do I put it all together in the right combination? So that it's tasty to everybody. And so that's what I strive for. So yesterday my presentation was how to teach sounds in a way that you can layer on top of the organization of it, the reasons we use them, the reasons that we use them in our spelling, how they correspond with suffixing conventions, and so that you can start with like kindergarten at the sound introduction level, but laying a foundation that's going to help them all the way through high school.
Okay.
And so that's really what it was about, is saying, you know, even just, I mean, like one little teeny snippet that would be easy for me to explain now would be like a TH, right?
Yep.
So on a microphone it'd be hard to hear the quiet one, but
Right.
you know, in the word theater, it's very quiet. And in the word the, it's loud, right? But, you know, we sometimes don't even learn there are two sounds for the TH,
Right.
but then we don't know when and where we use them.
Right.
So to me, it's not just learning something, but why is it important to learn? Where is it going to be used? And so I was telling them that the loud sound, that th sound, it's going to be in a function word. So, you know, like the and then and them and
That.
thus and that, those are going to be in a sentence an unstressed word for sentence stress. So if it wasn't loud, you wouldn't hear it. But if it's a noun or a verb, like theater and think, those are quiet because they're going to be stressed in a sentence.
That's cool.
So just like those little things are going to help kids, you know, because saying the theater is much easier than saying theater.
Right.
Yes,
Right?
that's
Oh
awesome.
my goodness.
I've never thought of it that way.
And just
Thank you.
just looking at it from a different perspective, that gives them additional knowledge that's practical
Right.
to bring back to their students.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we're hoping that maybe you'll come back for a full episode in the near future.
Oh,
That
yeah.
would be
I know I've been
fantastic.
romancing you for a little while.
Yeah, I would love to. It'd be fantastic.
Okay, great. Well, do you have anything else you'd like to add to our audience for today?
No, I'm so grateful for you guys getting all this information out there, and thank you to the listeners for listening.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you.
Well, this is Amy.
What? Suddenly I have a new name and a new persona.
Okay,
This is Amy.
and Melissa.
And we're the Dyslexia Duo.
Bye.
Bye.